Hey, how's it going, everybody? So, today we're going to read Lenin's very first letter. His earliest writing. He's got 1894. He's 24 years old. This is to his sister Maria. So let's go ahead and get into this. It's written October 1893. So it says, Manyasha, I read with interest your letter of September 27, and would be very glad if you would write to me occasionally. I have not been to the Hermitage Museum, or to theaters. I somehow do not want to go alone. In Moscow, I should be glad to go to the Tretyakov Gallery and other places with you. I read Ruskiya Vedomosti, 2 weeks old, in the public library. When I get a job here, perhaps I will subscribe to it. It is not worthwhile saving them for me. But I think they should not be torn up so soon. There may be something interesting that will be needed. From what you say about the French teacher, I see that if the Moscow schoolgirls are ahead of you, it is not by very much. The average girl probably doesn't know the language any better than you. Write and tell me whether you spend a lot of time doing your homework. Tell Mitya that he should tell the bookseller to go to hell if he asks 25 rubles for Klushevsky. He should not pay more than 4 rubles. How is Mitya getting on with his studies? Till we meet, yours, can you read my writing? Till we meet, yours, Vladimir Ulyanov, can you read my writing? So it says here in the notes, Manyasha is one of the many pet names formed from Maria. Then it says that was number one. Number two, translations of the titles of books, articles, and periodicals mentioned in the letters will be found in the Index of Literary Works and Sources given as appendix to this volume. Mitya is the pet name for Dmitri. Ulyanova Maria Ilyinichna, 1878 through 1937, was a leading figure of the Communist Party in public affairs, Lenin's youngest sister. She joined the revolutionary movement while still a student, became a professional revolutionary in 1898, and was later among the Bolsheviks. She did party work in St. Petersburg, Moscow, Saratov, and in other towns in Russia and abroad. In 1900, she began taking an active part in the work of the newspaper Iskra, the Spark, and from the autumn of 1903 was in the secretariat of the CC of the party. In 1904, she worked in the St. Petersburg Bolshevik organization. She was arrested and exiled several times for her revolutionary activities. From March 1917 to the spring of 1929, she was a member of the Pravda editorial board and the executive secretary of the paper. She became member of the Central Control Commission on the 14th Party Congress and a member of the Soviet Control Commission as the 17th Party Congress. She was a member of the Moscow Soviet and in 1935 was elected to the Central Executive Committee of the USSR. Okay, so this number 5 is Ruskiya Vedomosti, Russian Recorder, a Moscow newspaper that began publication in 1863. Moderate liberal in its views, it was suppressed in 1918 at the same time as other counter-revolutionary periodicals. Number 6, the Mitya here referred to is Dmitry Ilyich Ulyanov, 1874 through 1943. Professional revolutionary, Bolshevik, physician by training, Lenin's younger brother. He began his revolutionary activities in 1894 in Marxist student groups in Moscow. In 1900, he entered the Iskra organization. At the Second Congress of the RSDLP, he was delegate from the Tula Committee, an Iskra supporter and member of the majority. After the Congress, he was appointed agent of the Central Committee. He was arrested and imprisoned several times for his revolutionary activities. From 1905 to 1907, he was a member of the Simbirsk Bolshevik Committee. He then worked as doctor in Suprokov in Feodosia, all the time maintaining contact with the central Bolshevik organizations. He was mobilized in 1914 and conducted revolutionary work among the soldiers after the October Socialist Revolution. After the October Socialist Revolution, he was engaged in party and government work in the Crimea. In 1921, he took up work at the People's Commissariat of Health in Moscow. From 1925 to 1930, worked at the Sverdlov Communist University, and from 1933 onwards in the medical department at the Kremlin. He was active in promoting the Lenin Central Museum. Says number 7, this apparently referred to lithographed copies of lectures on Russian history by Vasily Klushevsky, the publication of which began in 1880-81 academic year. In the Central Party archives in the Institute of Marxism-Leninism, there is a lithographed copy of Klushevsky's course of modern Russia history for the 1883 through 84 academic year, which bears notes in Lenin's hands. Okay, well, yeah, that was the 1894 letter to his sister, Maria. So, yeah, well, thank y'all for tuning in. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Medium. All of these are Marxist Saw. Y'all hit me up there. Y'all have a great day in the Dadagoy.